name's Eddie Bolger. I was born in 1953 in Southampton, I think. It might have been that one. And I was one of 11 kids. And there was, with this Alzheimer's, my maths goes out the window, and so you just have to play with it. What was the question? Yeah, my sister Geraldine. Nobody realised that she'd actually contracted it, but she used to have a really fiery temper. She was not to be trifled with,
I think she had a bit of schizophrenia as well.
It runs in my family. This dementia does.
Well, I'm not sure about that because your mum was old.
Yeah, no, but there was people going back to my grandfather, and
do you think?
Yeah, and it's a filthy thing to have because it robs you of who you are. It really does. Your person,
it affects the whole family, doesn't it?
That's what I mean.
It affects you
just robs
as well as the family.
Yeah, and I mean, my kids, my grandchildren.
Yeah, but luckily we're all supportive, and we have got a good family.
Exactly.
Who are
and
all
the
trying to
people
help.
who haven't got that support, I don't know what it must be like for them. It's easier said than done. Don't let it rule you. Don't let it rule you, because it'll just eat you up.
Don't give in, you mean?
No, I'm not.
Do you mean
nothing
that?
to give in, is there? I mean, it's just you get it, but don't let it eat you up. Every now and then you notice that it changes. It's quite spooky when it does. You've been doing something all the time, the same thing, and then somewhere along the line something goes click and
you can't do it. Things like
embarrassing
tying your shoelaces.
Things, yeah.
Getting dressed now is difficult, isn't it? Knowing which
That's
way
where
around things go.
Is that the dementia bit, or is that the?
It's all part of it.
I don't know. But it's gradually bits fall off of you, and I can do that, and then no, you can't. And it's a very embarrassing thing when you don't really first know about it, and your colleagues sort of notice it, and that's when you start to fall apart. Really, you think, why can't I do it? It drops away from you, and you can't get it back. And then when your family. No, not family. Your friends and relatives notice, and then the people you employ or have employed you. You think, oh Christ, what am I going to do? I'll lose my job and all that, and everything. All that happened to me. Guernsey Press. And I was charged with upgrading the printing presses and all that sort of stuff. So I was sort of coming up to a senior manager and all that malarkey. I can bore you to death with this lot.
No,
all right.
What else? Can you tell me were you working when you first started to notice any signs around dementia?
That's a good question.
You couldn't do your monthly report, could you?
Oh yeah,
That's when it first started.
I started to not be able to do my math or do the reports properly.
He was always really good at mental maths, and you struggled, didn't you?
It just sort of seemed to be crumbling away,
Yeah, I
anyway,
think I noticed before you did.
Yeah.
You did the surveying for a removal company.
Oh crikey, yeah, that's it, yeah.
And that's when we noticed.
Yeah.
Then.
Because I had to. It was a what was
You
it
had to
called?
work out all the cubic
Yeah,
feet for the
it
moves,
is.
and
Oh,
you couldn't do your
that's
reports.
it. And I was just there to cube up how many cubic feet there is of their bits and pieces to get it back into the lorry. Will it all fit in? You know.
Which you did. You were there a few
I
years
was
before
over
it
there,
started
and I used to
affecting your job.
go all over the blooming place for that, and go into the houses, cube up all the stuff to figure out how big a lorry we need and all that sort of stuff. And from there, I went.
No, you got
I
major. You lost your job there because of your Alzheimer's. Because of
no,
your
no, no.
dementia.
That was later on. I thought it was when I was. Oh,
No.
right, you tell me. I don't know.
They
I'm sorry
asked
about
you
this,
to
but this
go.
happens to me all the time, all the blooming time. You know.
No, you lost your job there because of your memory.
Yeah, well, yeah. They
And they
started to
notice,
realise
yeah.
that I was losing the plot a
You
bit.
were
Yeah,
making mistakes and you couldn't do your
yeah,
figures.
yeah.
You do get frustrated though.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
With
Oh, yeah. That's
things
horrible.
like not being able to.
But I know I can't do it.
Mm.
I'm trying.
Well, sometimes you do, but
Yeah.
things like
Like-
tying your shoelaces, you've
Yeah.
got frustrated there.
Yeah.
Well, we've started buying slip-on shoes, which are easier,
Mm,
so we've got around that.
that's right. Yeah,
Um,
well done. Yeah.
You
You
know,
did.
putting notes and stickers on. You'll notice there's stickers around the house. On his drawers in the bedroom, he's got a sticker that says pants, socks, swimming gear.
Church.
It's easier, you know.
It is, yeah.
You know, a sticker that says
Well,
bathroom.
I'm sort of.
Because he just doesn't know, and things like the TV, how to work the remote is up there, and we're finding now things like even making the simple task of making a cup of tea is difficult. You know, Eddie forgets what to do, or he's looking for stuff, and it's like, what am I looking for? And he's looking for the teapot, because he's forgotten that he needs the teapot to put the tea bags in. You know, it's just little simple things, really. If I'm at home on my day off and we do stuff together, if I give Ed something to do and then go and check 2 minutes later, because he forgets what he's doing, so if he's hanging out the washing, you'll put two things on the line, he'll come back in and I'll say, have you finished that yet? And you go out and it's still in the basket because he's forgotten that what he's doing. So, but if I remind him or just say, oh, you know, you need to carry, he's fine, but people haven't got the time to do that, and it's patience as well, you know. Just looking for, he loses stuff all the time, just spends the whole day looking for stuff. Sometimes
I hemorrhage.
some days I come home and it looks like we've been burgled, you know. He doesn't shut the cupboards and the doors and everything's open. And,
I'm sure I'm just.
you can't rush Ed, so for anything for Ed to be ready for say 2 o'clock or whatever, you've got to think, right, 1:30, and it's like, it's the time conception as well,
But
which is quite
that's
difficult.
a good one to start the time thing.
Yeah, well,
Because I've
5
got
minutes or
no,
5 hours is nothing to you, is it?
What's it? No,
You don't.
the time doesn't. Yeah, no
concept.
concept of the time, because I haven't got a schedule. I haven't got to be anywhere, and I don't. So I have to make up my own where I'm going to go,
but you're not
and
very
then
good
I
at
don't know
even-
where I'm gone, and
But you're not very good at even telling the time, are you?
and then I send out the search parties.
So
you know?
those sort of
They
things,
don't-
if you are going
But,
to something or
you know,
attend something, it involves me more.
You're just, you know,
and
you're just.
it's quite hard.
You're just a silly old bugger. That's what I am.
Yeah, but I know.
And I've had it for a long time, and I know that my old mum used to say, if you don't laugh, you'll bloody well cry, you know, and that is quite poignant, I think.
Yeah, I think they did do a men's group once a month, which Ed went to a few, and they did offer to pick him up, but some days he didn't want to go, and some days
No, I didn't. The
you enjoyed it when you got there, but it's a difficult thing.
it was strained, I think. That particular one was.
Well, no,
People didn't. I mean, the guys were professional and all that, but they didn't really want to open up
Well,
in
they told me
front
that
of
you
everybody
talked.
else. I
You
mean,
talked all about your past and
I
everything, and you
know,
were
do I
brilliant.
do not tell anybody anything.
And they do offer to pick him up.
But it's
Yeah.
where am I going for this?
We're talking about your sense of humour and
Oh no, that comes
things that are
from
funny.
Ireland.
It's a
That's
good
for
place
sure.
for a sense of humour to come
Oh
from.
yeah.
I think with dementia, though, you have to laugh at a lot of it because there are
Well, you
lots of
can.
serious,
You don't
sad
blooming
times,
laugh. You
and I
blooming well
think
cry, wouldn't you? So
we do laugh sometimes when you
Yeah.
do silly things like
Absolutely, yeah. You
put
got to
your
do that.
wrong clothes on or your shoe on instead of your slipper, or go out when it's pouring with rain in your summer shorts, and you do get a bit confused. But we do laugh, don't we?
Anyway, yeah. Sorry,
You do
I
get
double-
lost, don't you?
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You
like
get,
in the dark, if I when we're going home or anything like that, if I go home, there's been times when I just didn't recognise anything.
I know.
on
Well,
the
you
phone.
have got you do get
and
lost.
and not as much lost, just
But
disorientated, really.
Luckily, people who you've spoken to and
Yeah.
have said you're lost have either brought you home or phoned,
Yes.
and often you're quite close. He's quite close, aren't you?
Yeah. The
We've
people
had
could be
times where
really
he's
good,
left his bike
really,
somewhere and
really
forgotten
good,
where it is.
and help without anything. Really help, and that comes as so when it happens, it's so good, especially when you in the dark coming home and you can't think where I am and all that.
I think once you say and admit it, and there's you say to people, well, actually, yeah, I have got a problem. I think people are, once they know, they're much better and they're much more understanding. I think when you try and cover up for it, it's harder.
How easy is it for you, Ed, to say that?
I just come out with it.
Okay. Have you always done that? For
No.
The last 8?
Well,
No, you haven't. It was
if
a
I
long
don't
time.
think I need to, I won't.
Your grandchildren sound tolerant.
Well-
Do you think young people are a little bit more accepting?
Yeah, I mean my
I
my
think so.
grandchildren they're quite new actually, aren't they? Some of them.
Well, you've got Max's one. Yeah, he won't understand yet. But the other two definitely know that you're forgetful and that they need to help you, and they hold your hand when you walk and things. She'll say, "Come on, Grandpa. Hurry up, Grandpa."
Yeah, she's lovely.
But one of the things I think as well that you benefit from is your music. He plays music quite a lot, which we know is one of the last things that goes in the brain.
Is it?
And you recognise your music, and he can play old things and tell you could play a piece of music, a couple of chords from a record or anything, a CD, and Eddie will tell you what it is straight away. So those, and he plays, he doesn't watch daytime television, but he will play his music, and I often leave out a pile of music or put the music on the iMac, for him, because he can't find his way on the iMac anymore. And he struggles with turning the TV over and things like that. So, but you do play your music quite a lot, don't you? And you get a lot out of that. It makes him feel better and boosts his spirits. Can you? You find it difficult to read, so you don't read very much because he loses his where he is. And
stupid. I mean, in newspapers all this time, but now I can't read a newspaper. It takes me ages.
you lose your place, don't you?
Lose a place, trying to find the lines on,
But
and I read broadsheets, so it takes me agony to
he
get
used to do the
to him.
crossword daily, but he doesn't do it anymore because he can't follow
quite
that.
follow that
But if you asked him the clue, if I say to him, we'll read the clue, he often gets it. But to actually follow and he forgets where he is and can't work out which one he's on, basically. But if you talked him through it, he'd probably do. You do still remember quite a lot of that.
So at the end of the sort of day, things are just with the dementia. It crumbles away and it don't come back. Once it's once it starts that crumbling, it's gone. In my social life, I'm a mason. Been a mason for a long time, and I've been general managers in different companies, and
You've done a lot of sailing.
I sail. I've had
Boats.
different boats and sailed across the seas.
It's quite independent.
And I think
You go to the gym now twice a week, don't you?
Yeah.
Which definitely helps. It helps your mind. It helps you feel better. Ed forgets what he's doing. So although he's a member of Beausejour and he goes up, he doesn't always remember. He walks there because it's easier, because he doesn't remember where to get off on the bus. So walking there takes half an hour, and it takes him half an hour to get home, and he does supposedly an hour at the gym, but sort of under his own thing.
Well, I lots of the stuff that I used to do, I used to love my sailing, and sort of, and I've done sort of proper sailing, going to the Bay of Biscay and all that, and all around UK. I had my own yachts, and I've done a lot of sailing. And
what about now?
The dementia has messed up my balance, I think. I mean, I could walk from stem to stern in a blooming force 8, and I really do. I could always balance on the boat, but I can't for the like of me do it now. I've tried it a few times, a lot, well, not recently, but I mean it was, I can't, I've lost that bit, and I've been sailing for years. You know, it takes you longer to do the simple tasks, and then the simple tasks becomes a problem. And
but I think in our society today, everyone's in a rush, you know, and people are in a rush, and they do their shopping in their lunch hours and things like that. And it's not always, you have to adapt. So we tend to go more in the evenings when it's quieter. I've changed the way we shop, really. I think the time thing, and as I say, I think it's a good, as soon as you tell people, and it is hard, for a long time we didn't tell people, but as soon as you tell people, they are more sympathetic, and they just say, oh, really sorry, oh yeah, of course, that's fine, yeah.
But then there's also the things that when there's, the kids, the teenagers and that, and they check out that.
Well, I think with you
messing it up.
There have been a couple of situations, because you're not an old person, but I think people are getting more aware of the younger people that have obviously got it, and there are people. I think once you tell people what you've got, and can they just give you a bit more time, then people are good like that. But we're all busy, and we're all rushing. He needs people of his own age group to do things with. We've tried a few things, haven't we? We've been to the Alzheimer's Society, and they're lovely people.
I've got no
I've
problems
suggested trying to do singing for the brain and things. Ed's up till recently been doing Meals on Wheels every other month with a friend who was the driver, but he's stopped now because he's found that quite hard following the list, and obviously there's special meals and things, so they have to be quite careful. So I think that's been difficult, but he did that for a few years, and he's also been doing with the driver at the Jubilee Day Centre on the bus, picking up the old people, up until recently, which he loved. He's really good with people, and he's really good with old people. Really good. And you were just helping.
We have a laugh.
Strap them in and that, weren't you? And doing one journey. But sadly, the guy he was doing with moved back to Scotland, and Eddie was finding it harder each day. And it's hard for me because I'm trying to work full time. When you say
you have to sort of harder, it's not the hard bit.
Challenging.
It's.
We did go through a really bad patch where it was really difficult, and I just thought, I can't cope with this, and where's it going? But we seem to have sort of gone over that a bit.
And that
moved
was,
on.
there was alcohol involved in it as well.
Yeah, Eddie was drinking quite a lot as well.
And
you're not drinking now, are you?
No, I don't.
I think for me, you've just got to make the most of the good times and not dwell on the bad times. That's how I've got to think about it. And I've got a little voice in my head when I'm getting angry, or I'm thinking, oh, he said that again, or oh, shall I do this, or shall I tell him this, or shall I? And the little voice gnaws at me and just, he doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean what he says, and he says some hurtful things, and he does get mood swings, and and you just got to think. He doesn't mean it, and it's past time, and then in 5 minutes he's completely forgotten, and he'll say to me, have I upset you today? And you feel like throttling him, because he has, and it was only 5 minutes ago, and you think, okay, he doesn't mean it, and
no, she's
so I think it's coping with it and changing your
you got to laugh or
and
you
really
bloody
you don't
well
get
cry.
anything out of being angry all the time, and
No.
You've got to. I mean,
Well,
I'm
we
not
don't-
saying
we
I
don't
don't. I
pass
do
the
get
angry side.
Well,
don't
we do get
do all
angry,
that.
and we do fall out, but
No, not really.
those times aren't as much as they were a year ago.
No,
I think we've
that
moved
was
on.
there was a few points,
It's just coping strategies.
times when I don't know, it was just awful. Really, I didn't know where to go.
I have a blackboard that I write on because Ed doesn't remember when. So this, go to the gym, because he doesn't, unless I prompt him, he doesn't know if he's been today or yesterday or going. Or,
Cattle pockets.
so that's that, and I write on that.
Yeah.
Remember, you're meeting me at such. He doesn't always remember anyway.
That's a really good thing. It's simple.
We use that, and that's on the dressing table, right in front of where Ed he sits at the bed and he looks at that. So one other thing that has really benefited us that we've done for years we've been here 5 years, but from our previous house as well, is we have a large whole page a day diary in the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Which we've always had, and on the day
What's and all.
What
goes on in the day.
I write in it every day, and Ed doesn't write so much now, but he did do. I've got them from the past, where we write if we think of something, whatever's happening, like today I'll be working late, or today I won't be home, or we've got this on, or there's just like snippets. Ed sometimes reads stuff, he doesn't really digest it. Yeah. But if it's written a few, and like I've got stickers like that one says yoga on. I go once a week to yoga. My daughter's a yoga
Those are
teacher.
Absolutely great. Those
But
things.
I know that Ed goes in the fridge
Gone
all
out.
the time, so he reads it all the time.
Gone in the pub.
It finally gets in. It's just silly little things, and I often stick things on the door, the outer door. Yeah. To triggers. Remember, I'm finishing early, or something like that.
And that works. I know it seems bonkers, but I mean,
it's a bit silly.
But it
does work.
Because I don't know what's happening.
No, I know.
I mean, and you put a sticker on there saying "bum," and I think, oh, God, that's right. Otherwise, I'll be padding around trying to think what's happening.
Yeah. So
but little things like that.
And the thing is, as well, with his phone, is some days I'll come home and he'll say, "Oh, I've been really bored. I've done nothing all day." And I'll say, "Are you sure?" And I'll say, "Give me your phone. Let's have a look." And I look at his phone and say, "No, you haven't, Ed. You've been out. Ollie's been out, and you've been for a walk on the cliffs, and that looks like you're at Joburg Tea Room, and that looks like you're." In the early stages, it's harder because there's lots of grey areas. It's not black and white, and there are some days when Eddie's really good and he's quite capable of doing most things, and other days he can't do anything. You think, oh, where's it going? So I think it's just making people more aware that there are people that have got problems that you can't see, and they just need to perhaps think twice and maybe think, well, is there something wrong with this person, that I haven't noticed or haven't thought about? I don't know what the answer is, whether you should have a little badge.
The answer is that when you're into it, you come into lots of people. I mean, just say, "I'm sorry, I'm going to make a few outers, and I."
But that's not always.
Trip up, and I'll repeat myself and all that.
That's okay if you're in a social.
In a social, you can't do that too.
But you wouldn't say that in a lot of places. And I mean, when we go, like if you go out to eat in a restaurant, you know, sometimes I will say to people, can you just give him a bit more time? He's got dementia.
Yeah.
And they're
That's true
fine
enough.
with that. But sometimes you're not
You let
always
them
in that
know.
situation. Things like reading the menu, choosing, all those things you find difficult. You can't follow the you know, and the traditional thing is the bill's always been handed to the man to pay. I know that's a bit old fashioned these days, but you know, you have to make people aware. Well, actually, you know, I'll be going up and paying the bill, and you know, which is
I
hard
don't
for
mind
Ed
that.
because he's always been a gentleman, but it is. It's just telling people,
Yeah.
I think, and those situations don't always arise.